What is your name?
Colby Richards.
And your hometown?
Richland, Washington.
And home parish?
Mary Queen in Spokane.
All right. And which seminary do you currently attend?
I'm at St. Patrick's Seminary in Menlo Park, California.
Okay. And did you go to college before seminary? If so, where?
I did. I graduated from Gonzaga University in 2022.
Okay. What is your favorite hobby?
As nerdy as it is, my favorite hobby's been studying Latin. I really like languages in general, so I majored in Spanish in university, and I've been working on Latin, and I'll do Greek in the fall.
How about your favorite book and why?
My favorite book is The Heart of the Matter by Graham Greene. He does a really good job of capturing the dynamics of human relationships, the emotions that accompany that, and the internal struggle of what it means to be a Catholic in a world where morality is clear-cut, but the decisions we make are often in gray areas.
How about your favorite film and why?
My favorite film is Arrival with Amy Adams. It's about these aliens that come to Earth and we're figuring out how to communicate with them. The story itself is just so beautiful. It's so human and captures what it means to communicate and how language informs the way that we see the world and the dilemma of making high-stakes decisions with limited information and consequences that come about from those decisions.
Favorite music artist?
Shaky Graves. He's kind of an indie folk artist. I got to see him live a couple years back, and it was one of the coolest experiences ever.
What was your first job?
I used to do lawn maintenance and mow lawns when I was in high school, so that was how I spent my summers.
Favorite state in the union besides Washington?
Probably Utah. I got to go to Moab, and there's just everything there. You can go rock climbing, skiing, whitewater rafting, base jumping, whatever you're into.
Least favorite food?
Stew. It's not soup, and it's not a solid. It can't pick a lane. Like, you got to decide one or the other.
Confirmation saint and why?
I chose 2 confirmation saints because nobody told me I couldn't. So I was confirmed under the name Simon Joseph for Simon the Cyrenian and Joseph the Worker.
Best liturgical season and why?
Triduum. The Holy Week, it has its own proper liturgies. The whole mood shifts in the church as we approach the cross. And when you enter into that, there's a psychological as well as spiritual dimension that affects how we view the faith. And you're able to really walk the Via Crucis with our Lord and with the apostles. And then as you have the light enter back into the world from the tomb, it's just this otherworldly experience.
Who's been one of the most influential people in your life?
I think my whole family. I'm very close with both my parents and my sister, and it's been really cool just being friends as adults with them and being able to appreciate as I've grown older how much they've given me and how much they've formed me.
How about in your vocational journey thus far?
The most influential person's been Father Vivek. He was my spiritual director in college, and one of his constant refrains was that he was for me, regardless of what my vocation was, and that kind of gave me the space and security to discern, knowing that he had my best interests in mind.
And what has been one of the greatest experiences in seminary thus far?
One of my favorite memories was the first month that we came together as a class. We took a vacation to a beach house in Aptos, California, and just that first night there, we were all playing Poetry for Neanderthals and singing pop songs. And as geeky as it is, there's this profound moment of us being a family. And it was just so beautiful to have these brothers who wanted what was best for me and who I was able to then grow in holiness with throughout the year.
What has been a challenge during your time in seminary?
The biggest challenge is you can kind of lose the forest for the trees, at least I can, and get caught up in the day-to-day grind. And you can lose sight of the gift that I've been given in my vocation and get so bogged down in petty details that I can miss some of the graces that I'm being surrounded with.
What do you look forward to returning back to seminary this year?
I am really looking forward to being in a house of brothers who are on the same journey together. There's really no experience like it. There's this instant camaraderie between you and all the other men there, and even in spite of disparate interests that we all have, this common love of Christ and his church brings you together. And as cliche as that sounds, it's so real once it's experienced. And there's nothing else in the world like it, and I can't wait to get back there for it.
And tell me about a moment that you encountered Jesus at seminary.
I continue to encounter Christ in his people. Every time we go to a parish, seeing people's reaction to seminarians, to this group of young men who are giving up so much in the eyes of the world, but yet receiving so much in the eyes of faith. People's response to that is overwhelming and humbling, because I'm just me, but what they see is a future priest, and just how instantly gobsmacked I am with the weight of that vocation and the support that I get from their enthusiasm and the hope that it brings to them is humbling and a reminder of the dignity of the vocation that Christ has called me to. And it always spurs me on and makes me want to double down.